Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free impartial advice on all your debt.
This is something that comes along every now and then in generation, and it's special.
What's good, BEVIS? IFL TV MTK Global. Delighted to be joined from the States by Mr. Frazer Clarke. How are we, bro?
All good, brother. All good.
Good stuff. It looks like you're living it up if you look on Instagram, but anyone who's got you will know it's your daughter's birthday, so you are making a sacrifice. You're not just having a good time out in the States as well. There is sacrifice to be made.
Oh yeah, man, it's a real killer. You know, obviously everyone in this game knows about sacrifice and that, but I've not really had to make too many in the sense of, you know, missing out on family time. I've always been quite lucky, but this time, yeah, missing Mila's 4th birthday, and it's, you know, it's hit me like a sledgehammer. It's really it's been hard, but you know, with the year that we've had, slim pickings, you have to take what you can get. So, you know, I had to make that choice, and I had a party planned for on the 12th when I get back the day, but obviously the coronavirus has wiped that out as well. You know, because where I live, we're going into tier 3, so you know, it's been a difficult one, but you know, she'll understand one day. So it's just one of them things. You know, thank God for FaceTime. Like I said, you know, it's really been a blessing, you know, to be able to see her and see her still having a good time and enjoying herself. And she's been spoiled rotten, so it's not too bad.
I bet, and I like the way you put that as well, that she'll understand one day when you talk about the sacrifices made. I'm going to talk about you and the Olympics and potentially turning pro and stuff in a little bit, but because it's Joshua Fight Week, obviously want to start there. People who know you play a role in his camp. Has it been the same this time? What sort of role have you played?
Yeah, this time, you know, it's been different. It's been different the last couple of fight camps. Obviously, it was boxing Andrew Ruiz the last 2 fights. So I was, you know, I'm always there. I was always like, you know, I'm just like a bit of a sponge when them guys are in camp. So I'm around, but I wasn't really involved in the sparring because obviously the dynamics just didn't make sense. So this time, you know, when he first come back into camp, we got loads of good rounds in. You know, loads of conditioning rounds at first. A lot of technical work, and then as time goes on, you know, I did a few shorter, sharper rounds with him. But also he brought in a lot of good pros, different styles. You know, a bit of speed, a bit of power, some real experienced guys. So it just mixed it up. So yeah, I'm there. I'm taking the experiences from it myself, but at the same time, you know, I'm obviously, I've been there. I think from the start of the pro career, definitely. Most camps I've been involved in, so it's nothing new to me. It's just been it's normal training for me. Everything just carries on as usual.
If you look at that sort of casual fan base that AJ brings, they might see the fact that he's sparring with someone who's an amateur and think, hold on, surely AJ would be sparring guys who've on the fringe of world titles and sparring people who've hit elite level in the pro game. But it's not like that. It's all very style based.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is, I think a lot of pros can learn a lot from this. And you know, if you spar in top amateur guys, you know, like I say, when I get in there with AJ at the minute, I'm trained to box 3 rounds, so you know, I can give him the best 3 rounds he's going to get at a good pace. And you know, in the fights, these big fights, when you have to go to that next level, if you've done the rounds with the amateurs, sometimes, you know, that fast-paced work really helps you. You know, it helps with the speed and the reactions and stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, no offence to any pros, but I have a much easier time sparring a lot of pros that are plodding around in front of me than these sharp amateurs that are, you know, in and out and throw a lot of shots and, you know, fast combinations. It's a different sport. I know that, and we know that, but, you know, I think, you know, with Rob McCracken in charge, he uses myself and a couple of the other amateur lads well, and just integrates us in. You know, we don't overdo it. We don't do too much. We don't do, you know, we're not in there for 8 rounds standing in front of him. You know, we could sort of come in, do our three or four rounds, and then come out again. So, you know, it seemed to help him, and he's done all right for him so far. So, yeah, I think, you know, I think it likes it, and I think obviously I'm a very competitive person. So, you know, it doesn't matter that it's Anthony Joshua in front of me. It's just another person for me to spar, and obviously you try and get the edge. So I think he likes that, that competition. We're very hungry. Like I said, again, no disrespect to some pros, but I feel like a lot, some of them come here to survive. Sometimes in sparring, if you don't get the right ones, I'm not in there to do that. I'm in there to compete, and like I say, he's seemed to work for him so far. So it's been good.
Just talking about his training, I mean, since he's become more high profile, it's been a bit more locked away to the media. And from what we see, it seems like he's one of those, you don't want to get in the way of him training. It's so focused, it's determined, it's teeth gritting, it's constant. Outside of training, fine, we're friends, it's all this and that. But it just seems like constant hard work.
Well, he's a very professional person, and the people that he has around him are very professional people as well. So, I'd always say it's a very relaxed camp. I won't say it's too serious. Like you say, other than when it's time to work. When it's time to work, I think Josh knows that he's still he's still learning himself. So he's as much of a sponge. He tries to learn off coaches, and he listens to people. He takes in the information he needs. And it's just one of them. Like, it is an intense camp, but when you think about them 12 rounds, they're an intense 12 rounds. A pro fight at heavyweight level, you have to do the weeks, you have to do the rounds, you have to do the runs, the strength, and everything else in between. I've seen him do the fight, like the Klitschko fight. You're not able to go in. What round was it? Was the stoppage? Was it around 11 or 10? Something
Round
like
11, yeah.
Round 11, without them 12 weeks of hard camp, 5 days a week, training 2-3 times a day, you're not able to produce that in the 11th round of a fight, of a grueling fight. So I understand why he does it.
Have you seen a mindset change at all? Because obviously after the Andy Ruiz defeat, a lot of people just went straight to, Joshua's overlooking Ruiz. I think we know it wasn't that. But have you seen a mindset change at all going into this Pulev fight?
I have seen a mindset change, yeah. If I'm honest, I've seen like I say, I don't know what the word is. I think the fire after, like I say, I've heard people say this. I think the Ruiz 1 defeat could be the best thing that happened going forward. You know what I mean? I feel like the fire was back in the belly after that. Do you know what I mean? Because what you got to think is, with Anthony Joshua, it's not just boxing. It's so much more to it. I mean, obviously we all want to get to the high level in the sport, but this man is under so much. If it's not boxing, it's media. If it's not media, it's other commitments. It's business. It's everything. He's like a global phenomenon. So, I feel like sometimes you can just be overruled by things. And I think after that Ruiz 1 defeat, I think he said, right, you know what, my bread and butter is my boxing. So, we concentrate on that and put everything into that. And I've definitely seen a change in him, a change in the team, in the camp. They go above and beyond now. Everything is, not that they didn't before, but what I'm saying is now everything is personalised, as professional as you can get it. To make what he wants to be undefeated going forward. So. And, obviously there's big fights out there for him. So he's just a winner. And, if he has to go the extra mile, he'll do that. The whole team, the whole camp doing that.
Will the team take note of sort of outside perception, or do they try and shut that off? Because I think when he was originally meant to fight Pulev back in 2017 and Takam stepped in, the consensus was Joshua will steam through Pulev, blah, blah, bigger fights to come. Whereas now, I suppose maybe because of the loss, there's a bit more intrigue and perhaps a bit more confidence given towards Pulev from the media, from the fans. Do they take much notice to the outside perception of that at all?
Well, I think it's just natural. When AJ was coming up, he was blowing people over for fun. Do you know what I mean? So, human instinct. You probably do think, that whoever they put in front of me, I'm going to blow away. And then he had I'd say the Povetkin and the Takam fights. They're two really good fights for him, I thought. And the Joseph Parker fight. I think they were great learning fights. He managed to come out the winner, but he also learned that these are a very tough, experienced men, and not everyone just falls over. So I think, like I say, he's always been learning, and I think them fights there really did help him, become more of a rounded fighter. Now he's since the Ruiz 1, obviously that's obviously in the back of your mind. You've made that mistake, or whatever's happened. You don't want that to happen again, so you go above and beyond again.
Gypsy King, would you like to see him ringside? Does it sort of play into the hands of AJ and Eddie, as some people are saying, or would you like to see him there? Because at the end of the day, Joshua knocks out Pulev, cameras pan to Tyson, and there's, we get the ball rolling. Would you like to see Tyson there? I know he said now that he's not going to be.
It doesn't really matter, to me. That's just for the casual fan, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, they like to see, like Golovkin says, a big drama show. Tyson Fury there. Josh, it makes for great camera work, but for me, being a friend and stuff, I'm just concerned about him getting in there and doing the job, to be honest. And I think that fight, wherever Tyson Fury's ringside, sat on the ring apron, that's a massive fight. Him being there on the night doesn't make too much of a difference. It'd be good for Eddie. I'm sure he'd like it, and I'm sure Sky would like it. But for Joshua and Tyson, they're just professionals. They're just fighters. They've probably done it all through their career. All the talking up the big fights and this and that. Now, from what I can see from both of them, there's not too much talk about it. They just want things to get done, and it's going to take a while. Obviously, there's a lot of negotiating to do, but hopefully, it gets done sooner rather than later.
And just finally on Joshua and Pulev, can you give us a little prediction? I know this is probably a prediction. You might have to be careful because I think this is a prediction people might listen to, this one. How do you think it plays out on Saturday?
Well, you know what? I've had a good run over the last few weeks. Obviously, we've I had Joyce, and then I had Lyndon Arthur as well. So obviously, I'm going to back AJ. For me, the explosiveness, the youth, and the new mindset, the new people in camp. I've seen more strings to his arsenal now. So I think for me, an AJ win. People going about the stoppage, this and that, but you're talking a very, very tough fighter in Pulev. If this stoppage does come, for me, it could be late on. It could be late on. When both men are tired. I think Josh will still have that sharpness in the shots. Could catch him with a big shot. So for me, I'm going to say Joshua after 8 rounds.
This is something that comes along every now and then in generation, and it's special.
Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free, impartial advice on all your debt.